Set the curtain rises to the stage. Say no second guessing. I won't forgive the lesson that I don't deserve. Wall Street over there's a life I know. Where get me from another day. Wall Street over there's a life I know.
Good morning. How you doing? This is 1100 WSGI. I'm LaVern, and this is Yes, One Street Over. What's going on? One street over from where you living right here in Robertson County. We could do. It's not going to just be me this morning. Everybody's looking. They're like, "Uh-oh, she's in there by herself." There's no telling what she'll say. Nick is on the way. We've got Nick Hartman coming in from StayPositive.News. They have the second Wednesday of the month. Nick got caught in traffic. You know, it's crazy. I was in Nashville yesterday. And what seems to be relatively normal traffic is nuts. And I don't have a lot of patience with traffic, even though I was the traffic reporter for 28 years. I didn't have to be out there driving in it. So, I just told you about it. So it's one of those things. I've never had to really deal with traffic that much. And I am so frustrated when I sit in it. So, and I'll tell you though, we were at the Madison Church of Christ, which is my family, my home, my people. We've been there since 1989, I think. Anyway, we were over at the church doing some things that I had neglected and needed to get done. So we were hustling back, trying to get back in here because we have Celebrate Recovery at Epiphany. I often say, we have our Celebrate Recovery that we have at Madison on Wednesday night, and that's been my spiritual family for so long. But I have my crazy cousins up here at Epiphany, so we were trying to get back up here for Epiphany Celebrate Recovery, which is on Tuesday nights at 6:30. And traffic was terrible because you figure from the traffic reporter and me, it looked like we had construction on 65 North. And so everything was locked up. I'm talking Dickerson Road, everything as far as any kind of 24 was getting stacked up, and they had an accident on 24. Of course, Dickerson Road, Highway 41 was just slammed. Everything going north. Gallatin Road was it was backed up nearly to Madison as we kind of topped the hill and we're heading into the Rivergate area. The interstate, of course, was just locked up. So, it was not a good day if you were trying to get north yesterday. So, anyway, that's what's happened to Nick. He's gotten stuck in traffic today. So he'll be here in just a minute, and we'll talk about everything they've got going on at StayPositive.News. But this gives me an opportunity just to kind of remind you, if you missed the show on Friday, my friend Lisa Fort was in here. They have got a special encounter conference, they call it. It's a men's and women's encounter conference, and it's going to be special. Hearing her talk about it, it's something you want to be in the room for. And this is happening June 27th through 28th. I put a link on, and I'll just go ahead and share it again so you can see it. It'll be at the top of my page. If you go to LaVern, LaVern Vivio, you'll find it. But it's the encounter event, the 27th and 28th. It's like $25 to register, and that's going to get you lunch, I think, on Saturday, and all this amazing fellowship with your brothers and sisters in Jesus, and very spirit-filled. This all that she had to say about it makes you want to be in the room with this. So go and check that out, and if you possibly can go, get your tickets and go to the Encounter Wholehearted event coming up June 27th and 28th, and it's going to be up here in our neck of the woods. It's up at the Restoring Hope Church in Cross Plains. So that's right there at the interstate, over by the fireworks stand or the fireworks store. So just really, I'm going to do my very best. I will be there at some point. I don't know if I'll be there for the entirety of it because I just never know what's going on with my family. And we are just blessed with this wonderful, big, growing family. And there's just stuff all the time. Also want to tell you, I've got Penny Callis coming in here on Monday to start talking about the garden tour, the Seeds of Hope garden tour that's coming up, and it's coming up very quickly here at the end of the month as well. So that's also that same weekend. But again, you can do all these things, guys. You can do all these things because the garden tour is a self-guided tour, and I believe it's I think it's the 28th. It's on the 28th. And you can get tickets available at Eventbrite, but you can go to, come on in here, Nick, come on in and sit down. You can go to the Martha Song Facebook page, and you can get tickets to that. Penny will be in here on Monday to start talking about that. And then we're going to have her in again, or somebody that's one of their gardens is featured. We'll have them in, I think, the Thursday before the event. So those are just some things going on around town that I wanted to just kind of plug and mention. But hello, my friend, my new friend. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Welcome to it. I kind of talked to everybody about how you don't get that door for me if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
I left it open so you'd see where to go, but I tend to be a bit loud. My voice. Oh, I like that T-shirt.
Thank you. We got it from camp.
Oh, I
Just
like
got
that.
back from church camp. So.
Oh my goodness, that's a really cool one.
Yeah.
How appropriate. StayPositive.News and let's tell the good news. Them are cool. What church do you go to that you got back from camp? That's an awesome shirt, man.
Thank you.
You got any extra? I'll buy one. Those are cool.
They gave it to the youth pastors down there,
Oh,
so
man.
maybe I can reach out. I got some friends that went.
I got lots of T-shirts, but that's a good one. I like that a lot.
I'm at Mount Carmel Baptist Church in Cross Plains, Tennessee. I'm on staff there. That's my full-time job. So I do the youth and discipleship there.
Very cool.
Love it. Great role, great church, and God's been really blessing us. And so, but we were down in Covenant College for camp. So I took about 20 middle schoolers with me. This was our first year that we just did middle school only.
Woo-hoo.
And so,
that's brave.
Yes, but I had some great leaders, and so I figured the shirt that says good news, not just the good news of the gospel, but stay positive news as well. So
highly appropriate. I think you dressed perfectly to come in here.
Well, thank you.
Anyway, it's very good. And I'm so excited that you're here. Sarah had reached out and said, hey, we're sending Nick. And I love what y'all are doing at Stay Positive News. It is growing.
Yeah.
It's growing. We've been at it, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, I think they're getting close to 3 years, and I've been writing for.
And that blows my mind. Because I remember so well when they were just getting it going. It was just an idea, and to be at that marker just is like, what time? Everybody tells you time. Listen to the old lady here, brother. Young man, time goes like this. Are you married?
I am. I'm married. I have 2 kids. And we've lived in Robertson County now almost 5 years. So we moved from Missouri.
Oh, God bless you.
So when I heard about Stay Positive News, I started watching it and reading some things and was like, man, this is going to be really cool. And then saw a kind of the writer position open up a year ago, and had a conversation with Rachel and Sarah about it, and got connected and started writing. My undergraduate, I went to seminary. I graduated seminary last May, and so my undergraduate degree's in communications, though. And so
there you go.
I'm very used to media and marketing and writing, and love to write. Writing was probably one of those gifts that I had even before being able to communicate verbally and all of that. And so loved to write, and knew that it was going to be a perfect fit. So that's where I got connected with Stay Positive News, was just kind of reaching out and saying, hey, I like to tell the stories of people, and I like to tell really good stories, and Stay Positive News does that, and it's been really fun. So
you're a wordsmith, I like to call it. When I see somebody that can just write beautifully, that's just always kind of been in my head. And I'm a writer as well, and it's not something I came to naturally. It's something that God just kind of dropped in my lap, and I'm like, I didn't know I could do that. There's so many things that if you'll open yourself up, the Lord will show you things that you just had no idea you
absolutely.
could do. And I tell anybody that's got a gift for being able to get up in front of an audience and speak that tell me they can't write. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Because if
you can do it verbally,
yes,
you can do it.
And they just don't. It doesn't click.
No.
That everything you're saying, just put it on the page.
Yeah.
And if you have a gift for captive, if you can hold an audience's attention, then you absolutely can write. There's just not, and now you can do it so easily because you can just voice record it and then go in and edit it.
Yeah. Everybody can share that, and I think written in some ways, while the editing process could be a little bit more difficult because typically, as you know, when we're talking, we kind of just chase rabbits. You don't necessarily chase rabbits as much in the writing process, but
I do.
From the first draft,
I know.
I also do some writing for youth ministry sites as well. That's kind of curriculum and things like that. So those are usually like take a lot of drafts, but yeah, when you get a story in mind, well, that's one of the things that I've found with just Stay Positive is that they sometimes they give us stories, sometimes I pick the stories, and they just do a great job of kind of guiding or finding a way to tell that story in a way that's going to be captivating, that's going to be fun, and so that's what I love about even the stories that I don't write is the ones that I get to read just about our community. These people who are a part of the Robertson Sumner County community who who we get to know because they have a really cool story in their life going on.
I love it. So as we kind of unpack this, and I honestly, we'll sit here and I can tell. Sarah said you will have no problem talking. You and Nick, we will run out of time.
If it wasn't for the tractor, I would have been here, 6 minutes earlier.
Love my farmers though.
I mean,
they're feeding us.
The hay right now is coming out, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, the farmers are trying to get their crops in the ground. They're trying to plant their corn, their soybeans. It's just the rain is really being. My brother farms, and so my husband actually he goes, "Have you asked Ben about da 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 da?" And I'm like, "Man, I really don't want to bother him with anything right now because he is just they need that. They've got a minute to get some seed in the ground." Because it's been so wet. Yeah. So farmers, we love you. Our hearts are with you, but that's what's going on. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just working themselves silly trying to bring in the hay, plant the crops, and get it to that point. This is a crucial time for them.
I'm all for getting stuck behind tractors.
There you go. I was going to say, because I'm just messing with you. But my family has slowed a lot of traffic with tractors and moving things, and I could go all down a big rabbit hole there. But so we're talking.
I actually worked for Missouri Farm Bureau as an intern in 2019.
Are you from a farm family?
My dad does cattle, and so cool. we got to build. I spent the summer of 2014 when I was in high school. I spent drilling T-post into the ground in the middle of a drought in Missouri. So that was fun. But
I know.
So I definitely have a special place. It's just
that's dry and hot.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and around here, everybody talks about our humidity, but I'm like, I'd take the humidity over that dry, hot stuff any day.
Missouri is far worse in terms of where I was at. So I was in Kansas City, but it was rough.
I was in Kansas City last week.
Wow.
I got a nephew up there. Okay. His family, and I've got a lot of family in Kansas City. But all right, talking with Nick Hartman. He is with StayPositive.News about all the things. Before we get off of it, okay, how old are your kids?
Yes, I have almost 3 and an almost 1. So they're both summer babies. So we got about a 4-week window where their birthdays come up. So
I love it.
A daughter and a son.
Okay. It flies. Listen to the old 62-year-old woman. It goes like that. Yes. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. I know it's busy right now. I've got one of my boys has 3, and they're just spinning in circles. They're so busy. And then I have one of my kids has just 1, and I've got 2 that haven't got started yet. So I'll have a house filled before it's over. Yes. But it's just the most precious time. And I know it's chaos, but
my wife is the best. I'll tell you that.
All of us old folks that tell you it goes fast, it really, really does. And you're going to see that. So just don't miss a minute of it that you can't. I mean, just Be in the season. The season.
Being present is something that I've really tried to work on, and I'm sure
it's
something
do a great job at it.
That I would encourage every person to do because I look back at old photos now, and it's like, wow, not even in 3 years, it's been crazy.
It's just in a minute. And being in the ministry, you get this more than I think most do. But that's one thing too, being in the ministry. I worked part-time I was full-time at Mass at church before I came back I'm a school teacher now. But, so I, for a few years, worked full-time in ministry, and it's exhausting because you feel like you're on call 24/7. Because you're working for Jesus, and it's very hard to see a number pop up and think, man, I'm one of their ministry team. You just don't, it's very difficult. You just have no idea what the ministry staff at your churches are dealing with, guys. It's just, it's 24/7. You really, and so it's exhausting. So, make sure you take time for yourself too.
Yeah.
But I'm
Our
sure
church
you're
does a
doing
good
great.
job of helping us balance it, and
Good.
there's a lot of really positive feedback in terms of flexibility and schedule and
Right.
all of that. Like I came back from camp and it was like, hey, take a little bit of
a break.
time.
Yes.
Even though you're going on vacation, take a break. Like, and I really appreciate that. So
Yeah,
that brings longevity to ministry for sure.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So as we're talking about, now we'll have some commercials we have to do here. I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and pause and let's do our first ad, and then I want to talk about a couple of things. Several people that I want to tell you about real quick, but we're going to start with Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. They are our longest running full-time sponsor. Cannot say enough about them. As you know, we talk about them every day because they have shown a lot of love to on One Street Over from the very beginning. And if you want to sell your home, Barry is the marketer of the bunch. For 17 years, he was a media marketing vice president of a media marketing company up in Nashville. He brings that expertise into Exit Prime Realty. Exit Prime Realty is the newest branch in the Exit tree. Rebecca will tell you many years ago when she went into real estate full time, she wanted a company that did everything she needed, that had everything she needed, had the support she needed, and it was Exit. And then she was part of the Garden Gate team, and then she and Barry went out on their own and brought a new branch in the tree. They brought his brokerage office that he has here in Springfield, her agency office up in White House, and they combined the two to break. I just can't say enough. If you want to be a realtor, you will find no better couple to help you than Barry and Rebecca Richards. They're excellent. They're good friends of mine and have just been just great in every aspect of what we do here. One of the things, too, they have got this, you can do a free market analysis. If you want to know how much equity do you have in your place? And that's what a lot of us older folks are looking at. What kind of equity do you have if we need to do some repairs and things? They'll do that for you for free, no strings attached. They've helped me out with that. If you're wanting to keep an eye, I like to kind of keep an eye on the property around me. There's up at the top of the hill, we're kind of looking for some property that would give us some road frontage up there because one of my kids might want to build up there. So they're just, keeping an eye on that. And so they're going to let me know if something comes up. But those are the kinds of things that maybe you're not really thinking about buying or selling right now, but down the line, you think there might be some issues that you might need to be aware of. Rebecca, one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. She specializes in helping older folks look at the tax implications and all the things that you need to know as you're older and you're trying to figure out how's your estate going to settle, as you get older. But nonetheless, anything that you are looking to do, reach out to them in real estate. Barry and Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, many ways to get in touch with them. You can call Rebecca 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or you can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUI, RobertsonCounty.com, and tell them U-Turn sent you. And talking with Nick Bryant, they explained the whole U-turn thing to you, right? Did they tell you that's my traffic monitor?
Yes.
It's like I was, because people, when I know you're brand new to the area and I'm talking about U-turn and everybody goes, what does she mean by that? I was a traffic reporter for 28 years and I was called U-turn LaVern. And everybody still calls me U-turn.
I picked it up a little bit, but I've never heard the whole story.
People still call me U-turn. That's just my nickname. And so I don't know if you've, David Evans up at Springfield Baptist.
Yes, I know David
him?
well, yeah.
I'll be, Sister U-turn. I'll know it's David because and I love that. I love him.
David's coming for sure when you hear him.
Yes. But I know anytime I hear Sister U-turn, I know it's David anyway. But, so what do you want to tell us about what's your favorite story right now?
Yeah, there's a couple that have come up that, that are kind of the popular ones that have really been doing some really cool things. And one of them, I think, was there was a little note on A Night to Remember, and a mom's reflection on that, which A Night to Remember is a fantastic kind of focus on helping those with extra needs, needing a place to have a wonderful evening of fun and dancing and all of that. And so Pamela Jones wrote that one, and it was a guest write, but written by one of our readers, and just a really great article that kind of shared the heart behind that evening of A Night to Remember. And There's several of those nights to remember that happens around Robertson County, around Sumner County. And so that was just a really great article on sharing from a mom's perspective of something that's a great need in our community and a spot for people to belong,
Well, and a lot of the different churches will host those events. And did your church do one?
Our church does not.
Yeah, but you've got...
But we got a pretty Waymaker Place. I think you've had Chris and Sue Banning on before. They are members at our church, and we like to help them. So it's a certain special place in our heart. But we don't have the facilities to host a dance of that caliber. That's our main reason. Is
honestly, you've got to have Northfield is a church that I have some affiliation with, and Tom Hayden is just like, he's my brother. Yeah, and not he's my spiritual brother, but we're super close. And they were at Madison forever and ever, and that's a long story, but we've got a lot of connections to Northfield, and they do a big one. Yeah, and it's just
they have the facilities.
It is precious. I mean, if you've never been a part of that, I mean, oh my goodness, it is just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and Springfield does one too, I think.
They do. Okay, Springfield. I didn't realize that. Okay, I didn't realize that they had it here.
Deck out their fellowship hall, and so I think those are the two that I'm most familiar with in our area.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Very good.
So, great article, though.
I'm sorry, Springfield Baptist. I didn't know I did one.
Yes. No. A great article, and something that is a great reminder for us there. So.
Very good. What else have you got? I'm sitting here looking at some of the stories. Go ahead.
There was one that Sarah wrote on Dr. Hussein, who he's a doctor in our area who's was winning hearts and friend requests. That was one of the titles of that one, and it was a quick read just about kind of a local doctor who's doing some really awesome things. Helping our people, and he was, from what I understand, kind of newer to our area, but really has done a great job. And Sarah kind of told that story of just a unique connection that happened with him through what I think was a friend request that later became kind of a more upstanding, long-standing relationship. So it was a really neat article that Sarah wrote, and would encourage anybody to go read that. It was about a week ago, so 2 weeks ago.
Well, and I'm looking at the ones written by your readers. That's where I found the one about the Not to Remember story. Yep. And this just jumped off the page at me. The last class saying farewell to the old White House gym. I did not realize that was happening. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's iconic.
Been in the middle of the conversation for a while now. So, and another one just above that, my buddy Noah Layton, he's a youth pastor in this area, and he wrote a great article on struggling through anxiety, but how God brought him through that, and not necessarily in a way that you would necessarily think. Mm-hmm. And Noah and I have become what I would consider best friends. And he is, he shared this at an event that we hosted together, a youth ministry event that we hosted together called United Weekend. And, hearing him kind of just in that vulnerability and hearing what God is continuing to do through him, I'm grateful that he was able to share his story there. So anybody, May was kind of Mental Health Awareness Month, but anytime we need to have those conversations, and he really opens up the door for that. And let me tell you, God's been really blessing him in terms of sharing more with other people, and young people have come up to him, older people have come up to him, and just been like, man, I'm going through that. What, can you walk with me? And man, the Lord's been doing some cool things through that story, which has been really neat.
Well, and I'm just sitting here kind of jumping through it and kind of getting some of the highlights of it. This is one I'm definitely going to want to read, because this is just such a constant question in the ministry community. It's like, why hasn't God done this?
Yeah. That's a great question.
And so, this looks like a really good article right here. So I'm definitely going to want to go in and check that one out.
Noah is one, like I said, one of my best friends in this area. We need people who love and care for us, and he's one who. Right. My daughter had a medical incident that actually happened in January. That was a little bit scary, but we're good through it. Right. But he came in. My lead pastor sat with us until midnight, and then he came, grabbed my car, came to the hospital, and sat with us until about 3 a.m. when we were released, because my wife couldn't with our with our youngest son being only like 5 months old. So
Right. But, I mean, just all kinds of fun stuff. I love this. Stay Positive News presents your Summer 2025 Family Fun Guide.
yeah.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You got a lot of good.
And hey, on that Night to Remember article, I misspoke just a little bit. It was actually sharing the story of Alden who got crowned prom king. So
fun.
I had confused it with the Night to Shine stuff, so I apologize there. But
and honestly, we both did, because Night to Shine is the event.
Is the event that Northfield and Springfield do.
Yes.
Night to Remember was the story about a mom who had the son being crowned prom king, and who had autism, which is an incredible story. My mind was going elsewhere. I'm only halfway through my coffee,
yeah,
and
there
so
you
but man, it is a really neat story about Alden and his heart. And I remember reading it a couple weeks ago and just was like, man. But when I looked at the headline again this morning, I was like, it was incredible, great story.
White House High School.
White House High
because
School,
that was the thing. We were talking about the White House gym.
Yeah.
And then that probably triggered it. But that's when, as soon as you said Night to Remember, my head immediately went to Night to Shine as well. But I see what you're talking about. She was just talking about they had an amazing night.
And we've had articles on Night to Shine, so they're back there. It's
exactly. Well, I thought you had. And it was early in the year.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you're not familiar with Night to Shine, it happens on the same night across the country. What's his guy? Tebow?
Yeah, Tim Tebow's organization.
Tim Tebow, he is the one who brings that. And so it's an event that happens across the country, and it's just spectacular. And so it just kind of has the same kind of hook to the title. And so I was like,
but that story is a little bit different, just on how a mom who son did have some struggles with, but has overcome those and got the opportunity to be a part of being named prom king, and
that's really sweet,
and getting to celebrate that in his senior year is incredible.
That's a beautiful picture too.
A great story, and I love there's a in the middle of the story there's a line, that where the mom talks about struggles and limitations, but then stops and there's one line that says, "But Alden has never stopped surprising me," and I think that's just a reminder for every parent. Now, hey, that don't let anything that your young people struggle with get in the way of what could be done with their life. And that's the whole part of the Stay Positive story, is like, that this is some of the coolest things that we get to share. And so that was an amazing story. Again, I apologize for confusing that with a previous one.
No, it happens. And I love this line right here. Says, this is as a mom, talking about your if you've got a child, any parent, you think about your kids. If there's anything they're struggling with, you say as a mom, you always carry that quiet worry in your heart. Will people be kind to him? Will they see the incredible person behind the diagnosis? Will they invite him in? And then as they crowned him prom king, she saw tonight those questions were answered in the most beautiful way. What a beautiful story. I just love that story. Oh, that's sweet. I love that, Mom. Good job. Good job. That's great. I mean, that's the thing. If you woke up and you're a little dreary and kind of downhearted, just go open up Stay Positive.
I agree. There was one that I just wrote on.
What did you write recently?
The most recent one that I wrote was on Fellowship Coffee House in White House.
Okay.
And they do him. So their crew over there, and Zach Talton of the Allstate Insurance Talton Insurance Agency, they've partnered together to do a Pour It Forward.
Pour It Forward, okay.
And so essentially you go in, there's on the counter, there's a note that says, I have this voucher for this drink, and you write, good for the drink listed below. And so you can write, a latte or a cold brew or a cup of coffee or whatever. And then there's some words of encouragement. Somebody can pick that up, hand it to somebody else, and then they can read the words of encouragement and go up to the counter and get their free cup of coffee. And out of that came many other kind of things. And Zach had a battle with cancer in 2021, and it started actually from another coffee place in our community, Historic Perk. Somebody, one of the baristas at Historic Perk, He doesn't remember who. I know the baristas well over there, so I have some, speculations because they have some of the biggest hearts that I've ever met.
They're awesome.
He said that they heard about his story, gave his wife, like, just one day, we're like, hey, we're covering your whole cup of coffee ticket because we know that you're,
Right.
And that really encouraged her wife, and so out of that, Zach was like, has always been one who wants to pay it forward or pour it forward, and they've been really working hard. They've been partnering now on a new project with White House florists to leave anonymous notes. They've been working with elementary schools to struggle with kids who are reading. So Zach's doing some big things over there and partnering some awesome businesses. That was the most recent article that I got to write. So
Very cool. I love it. And again, it's just a great place to go and start your day, and start your day off positive. I had several years ago had been trying to come out of a slump because things in the world were just depressing me, and I was spending too much time listening to my friends at 99.7. I would turn on political radio first thing since I got up in the morning, and my dear friend Shannon Baumgartner said, she came bopping in, and I've told this story many times, but I'll share it real quick here because it ties into what we're doing with StayPositive.News. She said to me, she was just in a good mood, and I knew that she had to be concerned about the same things I was concerned about. And I'm like, how are you so happy? She goes, I don't know. I just give it to God first thing in the morning. She goes, I have some praise and worship music. I say a prayer, spend some time in silence. I read some positive stories.
Yeah.
I go to the positive things, the God things. And so I'm telling you right now, from somebody who experienced that transformation of when you start your day out in a positive way, rather than turning on the dad blame news and seeing the riots and the whatever and we've got to stay informed, yes, but figure out a way to do that in a way that does not burden your spirit, because we were not created for that.
yeah,
We are children of the King. And we are supposed to live as conquerors and bring heaven down to earth. And we can't do that if we're dragging down low because of what's going on around us. So we gotta lean into this kind of stuff. It's so critical. And I just love what y'all are doing.
yeah, and
Very good.
The Lord, we see God show up in a lot of these stories.
Oh, of course.
Not every single one of them, and that's okay. But well, even though He may be on the forefront, He's working in the background, and we believe that to be true because, people ultimately, the positive news reminds us that there are great people in our neighborhoods and in our businesses and in our communities, and we've only scratched the surface to tell those stories. And I know we're looking at bringing on some new writers to hopefully tell some more, and that support's continuing to be there, and so that's super exciting. So usually I write like 2 articles a month, and I would love to do more, but obviously with jobs and life and family, we all are balancing that, and so but with five or so writers, each writing 1 to 2 articles a month, we're being able to tell a lot of stories. So if you have a story that that is something that is positive, because we each have a thumb in the community based off of our positions. We got teachers, we got stay-at-home moms, we got working parents, all of that. So we each kind of have a thumb in our community for that, but we don't know every single place and every single person, and we'd love for any more stories to tell. Some of my favorite ones are the ones that Sarah will shoot me a text and be like, hey, I got a story on this. Would you want to cover it? And I'm like, absolutely. And, a really cool God thing was the very first story that I ever wrote for Stay Positive was about V-Force Karate in White House going to their national competition in Louisiana. And one of my students from my youth ministry is in that team.
That's
and
cool.
So it was the very first story that landed in my lap was like, man, this is a small community, and I get to know some of these people well. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. We're talking Nick
Hartman. Yes.
I don't know why. Nick Bryant is a friend of mine, and it just wanted the wrong name.
A lot of Nicks,
No. Nick Hartman is here, and he is with StayPositive.News. We're going to continue talking to him, but we're going to pause and talk about the UPS store here in Springfield. Cannot say enough about the customer service there, guys. It is not just the place to drop off your Amazon returns. Please don't think that. I mean, and I know it's everybody kind of, but when you walk in there, number one, you're going to be met with the most beautiful smiles
and Christian music.
Yeah, there you go.
On, so.
I love it. I love it. And you're going to also look around and you're going to see this is a place where you can have a mailbox that you don't have to worry about porch pirates stealing your stuff. You can come in and have graphic design stuff done. They've done that for me for some tags that I had made for our Celebrate Recovery program up in Madison. I wanted something a little more professional looking. And so they made our last name tags that we had done. I've had them go in there and print things that were odd sizes. That's one thing. If you need a large print, something that is like a blueprint, well, they do blueprints. They do all of those things. They're also your source for any kind of notary. That I had no idea, because every now and then I need a notary, and it's always a struggle. Well, who's the notary? Who's the notary? And every single employee in the store are notaries. Tom said he did that because he knew that that's something people just need to have access to. So if the store's open, you go in, you're going to find a notary in there. That is the coolest thing. And they're also going to have some unique things for Dad, for Father's Day. If you want to go in and get a special gift, you can go in there and find some cool stuff. You know, there's just all kinds of things that, you know, I'm talking like little flashlights and pens and things that I've always enjoyed getting in there for just little extra things. But you can go in and maybe get a yard sign that says Happy Father's Day, because they've got 10% off yard signs right now. They've also got an opportunity to win a $250 Amazon gift card if you go in and register for that. But I think that'd be a lot of fun, is just some kind of a personalized Father's Day sign, because Father's Day is this weekend, y'all. Don't forget. I think my boys have kind of forgotten, even though 2 of them are dads. You know, come on. But 10% off yard signs, that's the special going on this month. 10% off yard signs. But remember, if you have past coupons, like the coupon for May was a discount in shredding, and then the one from April was a discount in invitations and postcards, you hang on to those coupons. When you need to use them, they never expire. But if you want to get in and get that coupon, 10% off yard signs, you can go in and get that today at the UPS store. We really appreciate them. They do such an amazing job. 513 Memorial Boulevard in Springfield. Not just the place that you go in and drop off your Amazon returns. Go in. I'm looking at their little store shot right now. Their greeting cards they have in there. Some of the cutest greeting cards I've ever seen. They're just so unique. So go in and, you know, get a special card for Dad. Maybe pick up a nice yard sign that just says, "I love you, Dad. Thank you for being awesome." And be sure when you go by there today, make sure you let them know that U-Turn sent you. Continuing on, talking with Nick Hartman and the church you're affiliated with, you're a youth minister. Tell them the name of it again.
Mount Carmel Baptist Church in Cross Plains.
Mount Carmel Baptist Church in Cross Plains, and you want to invite them to services?
Absolutely.
When do y'all meet?
We meet. So our groups and Sunday morning hour for education Sunday school is 9 a.m. and then our worship's at 10. And so we'd love to have you come and join us. We got a lot of young families that have been a part of our church and coming to be a part of our church. And so, you know, there's our youth ministry's grown, which is awesome. And so whether you're in Cross Plains or nearby, we'd love to come have you check us out if you're looking for a church. So.
Have we met before? Because you look so familiar to me. Did you come in?
I have not come in, but we may have met somewhere in the community.
I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking, I feel like I've had you on here before.
We have not had the chance. This is our first time on air.
But you really look familiar to me. I feel like we've met somewhere.
We probably have. You know, I like getting to know people in our community. So
very good. So
I'm an extrovert. My daughter is too, which has been really fun because she goes up to strangers and asks them to hold her, and we don't, you know, we love people in our community, but a 3-year-old going up to strangers and asking her to hold her is probably not the, you know, it makes us a little bit like, hey, how about a high five? You know?
Yeah, that's just it. My soon-to-be 3-year-old grandson is one of those that's just like all over the place, and we have to just hang on to him tight.
She doesn't know a stranger, and I think she's just watched Dad, you know.
Yeah.
And also live that, but
That's great. That's great. We're talking with Nick Hartman. He is with StayPositive.News and the Mount Carmel Baptist Church. And did you give him the time that you start worship?
Yes.
Or did we get
10 a.m.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was chasing rabbits in my head.
No,
now
it's
that's
okay.
so that's Sunday morning. Do you have a Sunday night service?
We don't have Sunday night. We do
Small
have Wednesday
groups.
night.
Usually small groups
yeah.
meet on Sunday night. So
Yeah.
what do you do on Wednesday night?
Wednesday nights during the school year, we have kids, an adult Bible study, and then youth ministry. And
Okay.
so in the summer, we tend to do some different things, of course, VBS
Different
camp,
nights.
all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so our summer schedule is available on our website, mountcarmel.cc. So if you're looking for, places to plug in your students or your kids, one of the coolest things that I think we do is we actually, our children's minister, she has taken VBS 3 years ago and put it on Sundays. So it's on Sundays, 9 weeks of the year of the summer, and 2 hours. And we have the volunteers there. We have the people there. And it gets people in the door on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And it has proven to be very effective. And it was one of the best ideas I've ever heard in terms of moving it. And obviously you got to go to the DNA with what your church and what God wants you to do. But that was a great move. And so our VBS right now is happening on Sundays at 9 a.m. And so if your kids come, you can get involved with our Sunday school and then also be a part of worship. So
there you go. Very good. All the things going on at your congregation, and talking about all the things going on at StayPositive.News. We cannot talk to you guys without saying, what's going on with the advice world. We got to talk about Miss Mabel.
Miss Mabel's
What is Miss
calling.
Mabel bringing to the table? Miss Mabel's always one of my favorite things. Miss Mabel, truth be told, sassy and to the point, and sometimes she sometimes kind of steps on my toes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say. I know there was one that was back. I don't know. It's been a while. Where somebody said, should we send thank you notes? And she was like, well, of course. And Rachel was in here and she was like, well, of course. And I'm terrible about it.
Yes.
I'm terrible about it. Matter of fact, my friend Paul Rainey, I told him I owe him and his sweet bride Mary about 1,000 thank you notes because they're just so good to me and just such wonderful brothers and sisters in Jesus. They're in Sedona today. Hi Paul. Hi Mary. Mary's probably still sleeping, but I owe so many people thank you notes. I'm terrible at it.
Well,
I'm terrible at it. Miss Mabel, she sassed at me, boy. I mean, my toes were getting all stepped on when I read that article.
I'm right
like,
up there with you. We traded in our car, and my wife found like 5 thank you notes that were just hidden under a seat for some reason, and that I was supposed to go and take to the people. And I think she's listening right now because she texted me a little bit ago.
Sorry.
So public apology to those who did not get a thank you note, because I agree with you there that was a little bit of an embarrassment. My wife's like, you have to get these to people. And I'm like, you're right. And I'm wrong. And I'm sorry.
She stepped on my toes. She stepped on my toes big. And that's something. And I have noticed that because the different things that I've done with seniors, and I've got a few of you seniors I haven't got your cards to, but I'm getting it. And I haven't gotten thank you notes from them, and I don't care, But used to be you would always get them. And I've got my daughter-in-laws are all just great at it. They send me notes, and I'm like, I'm so impressed. So their mamas raised them right. My mother raised me right. I'm sorry, Mom. She's up in heaven going, I raised you to write thank you notes. You just don't do it. But anyway, I'm sorry, Mom. But anyway, she'd be like, don't put that on me. But I love Miss Mabel that she will sometimes step on your toes. So have you reviewed this month's post? I'm looking at it right now. I haven't looked at it. Do you want to look at this?
Yes, I have it.
This is a menopause one.
I'll tell you this. I don't have much to say on this one.
Okay.
And I think when I read it a little bit ago, and then also here,
it's a short one. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, since I'm a girl, how did women survive menopause and premenopause symptoms back in the day? It feels like a part-time job trying to manage all these symptoms, and I have a world's worth of information at my fingertips, but sometimes I wonder if I'm doing too much and overthinking it maybe. I'm adding those words. Just trying to thrive in White House, Tennessee. Here goes Miss Mabel. Let me stop you right there, sweetheart. I'm usually quick to miss the good old days, even if I didn't actually live that Mayberry life. It's nice to pretend that I did. But truth be told, ain't none of us old people going to tell you we were thriving during the change. The only good that came from that sweaty, anxiety-ridden, sleepless mess of life stage was learning to tell the truth. If that last statement sounds weird, you ain't there yet. Or maybe you're a man and you ain't never going to get there. If that's the case, why are you reading this, weirdo? Oh, I love Miss Mabel. If that last statement doesn't make sense, let me hear an amen. People are out there wondering why women in menopause are so mean. Really, they're just saying what everybody else is thinking, and we're too tired not to keep those thoughts inside our head. It's really not fair. One day we wake up and our body gets mad at us because we can't make any babies anymore. And even though most of us grew our humans decades ago, then all of a sudden you're sweating in places you didn't know you could sweat. And you're so mad you could bite a nail into at who? Everybody. To make matters worse, you've spent the last 25 years keeping up with everyone else's stuff, but now you can't find the glasses on your face. I just love this. This is hysterical. I know I'm not answering your question. Sorry, you struck a nerve. Girl, you take all the pills and all those creams and the things that we have because of modern medicine. I don't think it can ever be too much. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so maybe it can be too much. You should probably go talk to one of them. Godspeed, sister. It will be over eventually, and then you can just be old in peace, sort of. That was excellent, Miss Mabel. That's funny. Yeah, I needed to
And
read
if
that
you know
one.
anything about Miss Mabel, that's even funnier. So
yes, that is true. That is true, because I do. And that is quite hysterical. That is quite hysterical. I love Miss Mabel. I love the sass in it all. And, and the one that we did last month talking about I'm just kind of going back, the one where how much do you help your kids? And that was a really good, insightful one. It's really good. You can sit down.
It goes back and forth for sure.
It really does.
She's a sweetheart.
She's a hoot. But love Miss Mabel. I've got a friend of mine. I got to send that menopausal one too. She's going to laugh. Anyway, but all those fun things. Of course, that's
the one that I'm on,
Yeah. You're like here for that one.
I agree with the line. Yeah. I'm going to step out of this conversation.
There you go. As soon as I started looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I probably need to read that one. I probably need to share that one and save Nick from that. Well, what else is on? What else have you got that you want to share from the website? We've got a few more minutes. So we got about 10 minutes. I told you. Go quick.
Yes, there's another one.
10 more minutes
that just came out. Kristen wrote on Camden's kindness, and Camden Anderson is a 13-year-old of White House, Tennessee, and he's worked this spring to raise money, $750 for Gigi's Rescue, which is a rescue place that does rehabilitation and rehoming of animals in need.
Oh, cool.
And so from adopting a dog from them to wanting to raise money for them, that's a great news story. And he's at Innovation Academy right now. So cool story. Go read it. Great. Just came out 3 days ago.
And what's it called again?
It's called Camden's Kindness. Okay. So if you go down to our...
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Cute.
So love that. That's a fun one.
Yes. Love that.
And trying to think what else has been out recently. There's one on Springfield's second annual Day of Giving, which raised over $39,000. If we can get First Fridays to not be on a rainy one.
No, I saw the show. I saw the story.
2 in a row.
I know that Ron Martin's just going. That's our city manager.
I know.
Yeah, Ron.
It's tough,
and it is.
But when they come back, get ready for July's First Friday. It'll be on July 4th this year.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is great.
Because we're going to have. Well, that's going to be a busy week because we've got Freedom Fest on the 3rd. And then on the 4th, I'm kind of wondering, are we actually having one on the 4th?
I'm not certain, but I know the July 4th is on a Friday this year. So
I wonder.
My guess is that they'll do something at some point, hopefully. If not, we need to.
We've got Freedom Fest.
So.
Freedom Fest is huge.
Yeah.
And I need to reach out to Ryan because that's something I'm not sure of because they intentionally do Freedom Fest on the 3rd because they want to give their, the people who work for the city the day off, and I'm kind of.
My guess is that they probably won't, but Freedom Fest is kind of the.
Freedom Fest is on the 3rd. We need to answer that question. If anybody knows the answer to that question, maybe post it up in comments. But that's something I hadn't even thought about. The 4th is on a Friday. Yeah.
I'll be on a mission trip that week. So
Yeah. So I will not. Our mission trip is later. We go to Mexico every year, and so we're going to be gone later in July. But where are you going?
I'm taking 20 high school students to Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
What are you doing in Milwaukee?
Yes. So we're partnering with an organization called Leader Treks, which builds mission trips for youth ministries.
Right.
And our church has a fairly large ministry in Haiti, Emmanuel, Haiti. Mary Phil Ilgis is the director of that.
Yes,
and so
quite familiar with it.
She is the best of the best, and it is a wonderful, but we're not taking students to Haiti. We're not taking anyone to Haiti right now.
Right now, it's unfortunate.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we wanted to mobilize our students and give them a chance. So they're going to serve at some local organizations and spend a day doing a scavenger hunt on mission and getting the chance to share the gospel with people. And so kind of trying to get them out of the South for a week. And
get them out of their comfort zone for a minute.
Get them out of their comfort zone. And so I'm excited with we have 4 leaders and 20 students going. And it's going to be a great trip. So Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah,
we go through. My husband's from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Oh wow! So yeah, we go
through Milwaukee all the time. So quite familiar, and it's beautiful country. And I'm trying to think. Will you visit the lakes? And
we will. We will visit Lake Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a free day, which is actually July 4th. So we're gonna do some of that fun stuff, and then we're gonna go watch some fireworks. So maybe get some of our own. I don't know what the rules are in Wisconsin for shooting off fireworks, but
they usually. Okay, I'll tell you this: in the UP, they may have laws, they ignore them. It's like crazy town. But this is in a little small. Husband's from Norway, Michigan, and it's a little small town up in the Upper Peninsula, and it's crazy.
Yes.
I don't know what their laws are, but they obviously don't abide by them because and it may be that you can shoot them, but it gets crazy up there. But it's fun.
It is.
And I'll tell you too. Have you ever been to the Great Lakes?
I have, yes. My uncle and aunts are from the Chicago area, so we've done the Lake Michigan there.
Yeah. And your students that are from here that have only gone to the ocean, they have no idea.
They don't know.
Spectacular fresh water.
Yeah.
And it's spectacularly beautiful. And it's not salty.
Nope.
It's wonderful. I love the Great Lakes.
We're looking forward to that.
I'm not an ocean. I love the spectacular beauty of the ocean, but I'm not somebody that likes to get in the salt water and all that. I love the Great Lakes, but it's cold.
It is cold. It is cold. We're going to kayak and do some fun things, see some of the lighthouses up there. And,
yeah.
So that's their fun day after they work hard and work for the Lord. So we get to go have fun.
And just getting them out of their comfort zone.
Yep.
That's why you do. Everybody's like, well, why are you going there? Well, because we used to do the same thing. We'd go to St. Louis. We'd take our youth. When my kids were younger, I worked in youth ministry and, would be one of the coaches. This is before I was working for the church, but I'd help. And we would go, we had a mission point in St. Louis and we would go and work there, but then we'd do some fun things too. We'd go to the art, the arch and different things like that. But it's getting them out of their comfort zone, working with kids that are completely, they have a different world. It is a different world when you get up north from what you have around here. It's just different. And it's just, it'll be good for the kids. That's great.
We're really looking forward to it.
Very cool. Just kind of a programming note, we have another full hour of local programming coming on with Brother T. He is going to fill in for Lee Marie, who is out of pocket today for the Go Show. So we have from 8 to 9, another full hour of local programming you will not want to miss. Brother T will be in here, and he'll be taking the reins here at 8 o'clock. But we've got a few minutes left. What else do we need to cover?
Before we wrap up I know there's if you've never been on the website, certainly go and look. If you like I said, if we have stories that you're wanting, that's the best way. Is a lot of our stories we either hear about or are submitted, or a text is sent to one of our 3 leaders there. There's also, if you go on the website, there's a job board. If you want to go look at the jobs, you could see, if you're in the job market right now, right. For example, one of the top jobs right now, you could look as a photographer/driver, part-time driving around, taking photos of signs and lights that are out for $25 to $30 an hour. It's a commitment of 6 to 8 hours per week. So even like part-time jobs like that, they're up there.
That is cool.
Just to take pictures of signs. Maybe I'll apply for that. I'm just kidding.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. That's a good deal.
There's some Student of the Month stuff in there. The June Student of the Month is Jake Early. He's a 7th grade student at White House Heritage Middle School. And there's a whole blurb on what Jake gets to do and who Jake is. And it's really neat. He's got hard work ethic and did some trash pickup that needed to be done. Yeah. And so that's the Student of the Month in June. So if you haven't looked through those, there's a lot of good. And you could submit for Student of the Month as well if you know somebody who's doing some cool things in our schools, because there's a lot of them. So.
Yes, there are. I just, when they start talking about that, I start to have a whole.
I think you had Dr. Weeks on recently. Was it?
He was on. He's on every month. He comes on the Tuesday after the board meeting, and so he was in here yesterday.
Yeah.
And being because I'm in the school system. My husband and I both are teaching. We retired into teaching. That's how I became familiar with Chris Fallines, who's also Chris doing the same thing.
Chris, and fun story about Chris. His sister, so his niece, is in my youth ministry and going on that trip to Milwaukee.
Oh, fun. Yeah. See, I love how things just kind of wrap around
full circle
together. Full circle. I love it. So glad to meet you, Nick.
Yeah, it's great to meet you.
And I feel like I said, I feel like I've known you forever.
Hey,
as I said,
we can have more conversations whenever you want.
Absolutely. Well, I'll look forward to talking with you again, and good luck with your mission trip and your ministry and your writing and all the things. And I keep saying I'm going to submit some things. I've just got to do it because I've got several things already written that we could probably plug into something. But tell Sarah
I'll let her know.
I'm going to get it done. But before we go, I do want to remind you, how do you say this word right here? Do you know how to say that?
That is the word chorizo, which is one of my favorite meats.
Okay, thank you. Because I did not know how to say it. And I feel like I'm just really letting down my friends over at Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market. I had been talking about them earlier in the week. And say it again.
Chorizo. Chorizo. It's a pork sausage.
Chorizo. And I knew it was a pork sausage, but I never could say it. Chorizo. And I spend so much time in Mexico.
With spices and Mexican spices. It's amazing.
As much time as I spend in Mexico, you would think I would. My Latino students, they just shake their head and look at me because they know I go to Mexico all the time and have been doing it for like 10 years. And I'm terrible with my Spanish. I'm going to get better. Chorizo. Here's the big thing. Summer sales series. The chorizo is buy one, get one at Bernard Farms Custom Cuts and Market. You need to go there and get some chorizo. It's not
far on my way home.
Because I'm telling you right now, if you're a chorizo fan, everything they do is just the best. You need to go see them.
Well, I've been to Bernard Farms, and I've had their pork burgers, and
the chorizo is buy one, get one right now.
I'm gonna have to go get some.
You need to know that, guys. And when they sell out, they sell out. So if you want that special, oh my gosh, yes. But the summer sale series right now, it's chorizo. Thank you I knew you'd probably pronounce that for me. Thank you. And with that said, go see Bernard Farms Custom Cutting Market. It's another one of our wonderful sponsors here at 1 Street Over. We love them. And that's just a little extra plus. We talked about them earlier in the week, but I mispronounced it. And I didn't. So I wanted to make sure y'all knew it was buy one, get one. Stay tuned. We've got Brother T in for Lee Marie for the Go Show coming up next. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, thanks.
Come back and see me anytime. And tomorrow, we've got United Way coming in, and I think we have them coming in from Chosen tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. But it'll be a great show. We've got it. I mean, it is jam-packed. People ask me for open slots. We really don't have any right now, but thank you guys for that. And we love that the show is just getting bigger and better all the time, keeping you plugged in about everything going on in your community, 1 street over from where you live in. And you're going to find out more if you'll stick around right here on 1100 WSGI. Stay tuned for the Go Show coming up next. God bless.